You know, I'm usually a guy who don't believe in stats. I don't look at records. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. However, I do like to talk about it sometimes here and there. Just take a little smack. Here's a crazy stat. Since 1990, that's 28 years. Guys, I'm 29. That means my whole life. At least four teams every year they go to the playoffs. Four teams that didn't make the playoffs the year before. That's why they say any given Sunday, everybody has a chance to make the playoffs. We started all from zero. We all got the same goal, just to squish into the playoffs. Once you sneak in, hey, anything can happen for your team. Last year we had 8 new faces. This year, I think we're gonna have a few new faces. I think a couple of teams are gonna do a little step back. So here are my predictions to win the division this year. I'm gonna start in the NFC East. Clearly, the Giants are the best team. They got better all the way around. They got a new head coach. Pat Shermer is a great offensive mind. I think he got what it takes to have Eli play at an elite level that we've seen before when they won the last 2 Super Bowls. They drafted a running back in Saquon Barkley. Wow. They got an offensive line who's going to help him to run the ball, to protect Eli, to throw the ball down the field. They got Odell. They pay the guy. He's motivated. He's going to have a great season. They got help in defense. Like I say, they got better all the way around. Dallas, on the other hand, they lost Des Bryant. They lost Jason Witten. They have a little questions on defense. I don't see the Eagles repeating. I don't even see the Eagles going into the playoffs this year. I think Philadelphia is going to do like Denver did a couple years back when they won their Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl based on defense. Philadelphia has a great defense. I don't think Carson Wentz is ready to play. He's not healthy. Nick Foles is not the solution. They can't go the whole season with Nick Foles. And Carson Wentz, even when he does come back, I don't think he's going to be 100% and playing at the elite level that he was playing last year. Washington got Alex Smith, which I have a ton of respect for Alex Smith. He is a winner. I don't care what anybody says. That guy is underrated. He delivers. He is a good quarterback, and he should have a little more respect for him. However, the Giants. I think the Giants taking the East. In the North, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. We see what happened when Aaron Rodgers goes down. The Packers look just like the Cleveland Browns. Aaron Rodgers missed 10 games last season. I think this year he's healthy, he's ready to play. I know they lost Jordy Nelson, so they got Jimmy Graham, a nice target for the red zone. They got a little help on defense. They drafted a couple of corners. I think Green Bay, with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, can easily take the division. The Vikings, they got away with a lot of help last year. A lot of breaks. They got a good defense. However, they did something they not, they went and tried to fix something that wasn't broken. They went and signed up Kirk Cousins, which I don't believe that was a mistake. However, I would have went with Case Keenum. He was already in the system. He knew the playoff. He knew the whole thing. I would have been okay signing him again. But, therefore they're going to take a little step back. I think they can probably squish into the playoffs, as a wild card. But the Packers can easily win the division if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, which that's the key thing. Keep him healthy. You guys should be okay. However, I will keep my eyes open on Detroit. Detroit has a new coach, Matt Patricia. They have Matt Stafford. Detroit have been lacking about the running game the last 3 or 4 years, so I feel like they can't get over the hump. Even though they lost Calvin Johnson, it was still okay to play with just Matthew Stafford and some of the receivers like Brandon Tate. But they can't get over the hump without the running game. They got experienced running back in LeGarrette Blount, 3-time Super Bowl champ. They have a little bit of help on defense. They play in the AFC East, which Matt Patricia is very familiar with. They should have a clear advantage playing the Jets, the Dolphins, the Bills, maybe even the Patriots. Who knows? So if Aaron Rodgers somehow goes down, keep the eye open on Detroit. They can still sneak in. In the South, I gotta give it to Atlanta. Atlanta, it's to me 51% favorite to win. New Orleans, 49. However, these two teams are going into the playoffs. Last year, it came down to the very end, the very wire. Atlanta and New Orleans to see who's going to win the division and who's going to go as a wild card team. I think this year it can very well happen the same thing. Atlanta, I feel like they have a little more experience. They've been in the Super Bowl. They should have won last game against Philadelphia. They could have went right back to the Super Bowl. New Orleans has Drew Brees has 2 good solid years at least in Drew Brees. At least 2 years playing at a very competitive level. They have a young defense. I'm sure they're motivated. They lost in a bad way against the Vikings, and I'm sure they've been thinking about it. I'm sure they want to play off their tails off and try to get back in there. They have a dynamic running game with the two punch with Kamara and Ingram. I'll keep my eyes open in New Orleans because it very well could be 51 New Orleans, 49 Atlanta. In the NFC West, a lot of people have the Rams winning this division. They even have them as high as 12 and 14. I don't think the Rams are that good. I think Sean McVay is a great coach. I have a ton of respect for him. They have Wade Phillips as a great defensive coordinator. Wade Phillips has been a head coach before. However, I think he does best as a defense coordinator. We saw what he can do in Denver. He can make a great defense and take them to the Super Bowl. That defense won the Super Bowl for Denver. I think that's what they're hoping to do. However, I have a lot of questions for the quarterback. I know Goff was the first round pick a few years back. I'm not sold on Goff. I'm more sold on Jimmy G. Jimmy G has played with 2 different teams. The man is undefeated in his NFL career. I know he has only played 8 to 10 games. Guys, it's very hard to win 1 game in the NFL. If not, ask the Cleveland Browns. It's very hard to win 1 game. The man has won 8. I think he's the type of guy that makes everybody better around him. He comes from a great organization, the Patriots. I think he's a smart kid. That's the reason why he got paid a ton of money this offseason. I have the 49ers winning this division. I know I'm getting a lot of boos out there, but it is what it is. And the AFC, we're going to start with the North. Pittsburgh Steelers. They have won this division the last 2 years. Baltimore has been rebuilding. Baltimore, I think he's going to give Joe Flacco this year his last chance. They got more help for him. I think they can make a run. Baltimore defense, it's very good. It's always tough. It's between these 2 guys, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh have more weapons. However, Le'Veon Bell is not quite there with the team yet. He's still working out the money situation. I don't think he's gonna play this first game. I think Pittsburgh can survive Bell at least to win the division. I don't see him going very deep into the playoffs without him, but they can win the division. In the AFC West, I have Kansas City win this division. I think Andy Reid, it's been a great coach for a very long time. In my opinion, he's the best coach behind Belichick right now in the NFL. He has always been a winner. He looked for a guy like Patrick Mahomes. He drafted him. He's made him sit behind Alex Smith. He showed him the system. And now he's ready to run with him and give him everything he has. I would like to see Andy Reid get a ring before he retires. like I say, I have a ton of respect for him. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. I have Kansas City winning this division. The Chargers are got too much hype going around them. I know they got great defense, two great pass rushers. They have a great running game. They always seem to get hot at the last minute. The last 2 months of the season, I think Philip Rivers got the most touchdowns out of everybody the last 2 years. If you just look at the last 2 months of the season. But that's the problem, guys. A lot of times they run out of time. They don't have enough to sneak into the playoffs. This year, I don't see them any different. They always, to me, always find ways to lose the game. They've been having problems with the special teams forever. The kicking, the kicking guy, I don't even know who's the kicker, but I think they lost 5 games by 3 points or less last year. They could have won with field goals. However, the guy couldn't deliver. I'm not sold on the Chargers. I think the Raiders lost this division when they traded Khalil Mack a few days ago. Khalil Mack, to me, was the next Lawrence Taylor. I think he's a very good guy. He's very strong, very smart, powerful. You know, he can do it all. I think the Raiders Nation, they're going to be very disappointed this year. And I actually feel bad for him because John Gruden is coming back. He got everybody hyped up. Now they got rid of one of the best players outside of the quarterback, of course. If they don't start winning, everybody's gonna start calling John Gruden's name. And for what I heard, you know, his 10-year contract is not guaranteed. I don't think he's gonna last 10 years in Oakland. I know they're moving to Vegas, but you know what I mean. I don't think he can deliver 10 years in the Bay Area. We're moving up to the South. To me, NFC South and the AFC South, they're the best 2 divisions in football. The AFC South, it's up for grabs. I think any of these 4 teams can win it. I think the Colts, with Andrew Luck healthy, a little bit help with the offensive line, I think they can make a push. They can make a run for that division. They can very well go and win it. The Colts won the division for a very long time with Peyton Manning, and then once he moved out and Andrew Luck took the torch, everybody was like, well, we're going to keep winning this division. Well, guess what? Andrew Luck got hurt, and a lot of teams got better in that division. This year, he's back, so we'll see what happens. Jacksonville Jaguars, they got an incredible season last year. There's still some questions about the quarterback. I like him. Bortles, I think he fits perfect with the Jaguars. I don't know what's the big deal with him. I think they can win the division. However, I think this year they're going to do a little step back. I think people are going to figure out how to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're a young defense, so they're going to start thinking it's easy for them to go win games and go right back to where they left out last year. Once again, it's very difficult to win a game in this league. I just give you the craziest stats. 4 new teams every year. They haven't made it the year before. It's crazy. You don't see that in baseball. You don't see that in basketball. This NFL thing, it's ridiculous. That's what I call it any given Sunday. Titans. Tennessee Titans are still rebuilding. They have a new head coach, Mike Vrabel. I think they're still trying to figure out their way. They have a good offensive line. They have a good running game, good quarterback. I think they drafted a good receiver last year. They can win the division. They can. Don't get me wrong. They can win the division. It's just like I say, that division is up for grabs. Anybody can win it. To me, I'm sorry I don't have a team. If you want me to pick a team, I'll pick Tennessee. Just because my boy Benito out there, you know, he's a very die-hard Tennessee Titans fan, and I follow that team a lot. I feel like They got better over the last few years. However, everybody in the division got better also. The Texans, it's up in the air, depending on how J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson coming back from the injuries. These are the two best players on offense and defense. They can actually help this team win games. I don't know. They have very difficult injuries, and I don't know how they're going to come back. If they're going to be back at the level that we've seen them before, or it's going to take a while for them to catch up. And last but not least, the AFC East. All I gotta say, Patriots, 5-time Super Bowl champs. We're the best. There is no competition in that division. I'm a Patriots fan. The Patriots have won the division since 2001, 16 times. They have only lost it twice. One, it was with no Brady. And they have dominated this division. There is no other way to describe it. I think we can win the division, and the AFC, other than the South, I don't see anybody else giving us a hard time. All four teams in the AFC South, they can give us a little hard time, but that could be in the championship game, just like we faced Jacksonville last year. I'm not saying we're going right back to the Super Bowl, but anything can happen, I know a lot of people are calling the Patriots. They say the time is up. I heard somebody saying when the wheels start getting loose, they usually fall completely off. And a lot of people think this is the year. Who knows? I'm a Patriots fan. I know our time is coming. But until it happens, I'm just going to keep riding it, At the end of the day, I'm just saying.